I would love to hear what that sounded like. Can you imagine what that sounded like? That organ in this space. What did that sound like? Thank you for that.
Pretty solid organ.
I loved Spain so much that a year after my solo trip, I made Evan come back with me a second time.
It was beautiful. I've never seen anything like it.
There's a bit of magic in visiting a place more than once, because each time you leave a piece of yourself there. It becomes less foreign. You build a rapport, and then it becomes yours. That's how I feel with Cordoba.
I thought all of this just existed in my dreams.
Here are some of my tips for the city of Cordoba. Arriving by train, as I did both times, is very easy. I booked all my train tickets ahead of time on goeuro.com. I highly recommend doing this because parking structures are few and far between, and walking the cobblestone streets is the point. It's truly the best way to see it.
Look at this hotel room.
I've stayed at 2 hotels here, and I loved both of them. Las Casas de la Juderia was just beautiful. And Hotel Madinat greeted us with the best rooftop.
Are you just taking pictures of my house?
Cordoba is a small city, so you don't need more than 2 nights to hit the highlights.
No lo toques. No toques las naranjas.
Pero me gustó mucho naranjas.
No toques las naranjas.
The main attractions are the Mezquita Catedral, the Alcázar de los Reyes Cristianos, and the Puente Romano. The Mezquita Catedral is the #1 reason people go to Cordoba. If you only have time to do one thing in the city, this should be it. It's day 2 in Cordoba. I'm going to the Mezquita. It's both an ancient mosque and a cathedral. Catholic architecture stacked on top of Moorish architecture. It's the only structure of its kind in the world.
So the trick here is you just have to wait out the crowds. You have to have ultimate patience.
You don't need to purchase tickets ahead of time. Just find a ticket booth inside the courtyard and walk into the main structure. But there are crowds to deal with.
So people keep walking into my pictures.
Look at the times of tour groups that are happening that day, and you can plan your time inside to avoid those groups.
All these perfect arches. And then there's that.
And when you're done, stroll inside the courtyard, the Patio de las Naranjas, full of mature orange trees and fountains.
Can we eat these oranges?
No, you can't. He keeps wanting to pick the oranges. You can't just pick. I don't think they're public oranges for consumption.
Who eats all these oranges?
No, I don't think anybody does. If you were allowed to just pick the oranges off the trees, there'd be no oranges left.
It's current present day Natalie. I'm editing the story and I wanted to do a quick interruption because I actually Googled this while I was working on the story, and I was right, as it turns out. You cannot eat the oranges off the trees in Cordoba or Sevilla or really any Andalusian city where they grow. But as far as I can tell, not because you're not allowed to, but because you just wouldn't want to. They're so bitter that no one in the right mind would just eat these oranges raw. It's because the soil that the city uses is just enough for the trees to grow fruit, but not enough for the fruit to be sweet. Anyway, just wanted to interrupt with that little fact. Back to the video. Walking distance from the Mezquita is the Alcázar de los Reyes Cristianos.
I have 45 minutes to walk over to the Alcázar and spend time in it.
Buy a ticket from the booth at the front. It's very cheap, around $6 and wander. Check the closing times though, because it does close early on the weekends. I won't get too deep into the history here. Just know that the structure was deeply significant to the entire region of Andalusia. For instance, Queen Isabella and King Fernando commissioned Christopher Columbus to start his voyage to the New World from here. For that alone, it's worth a visit.
But even more so because the gardens are insanely beautiful. You can't go wrong spending half a day here.
This is the I have to urinate. Or,
Ladies, please take note.
Lee, do you have to go?
There are bathrooms inside the Mezquita and the Alcázar and any other attraction you're probably going to see. Use them.
Church bells do nothing but increase anxiety. Please take note of the nearly slamming motion of the right hand as each forward stride with the right foot. Slam, 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 slam.
Almost across the street from the Alcázar, everything is walking distance, by the way, is the Puente Romano. It translates to the Roman Bridge. Think of it like the gateway into the old city of Córdoba, the part of the city that's walled off. From this bridge, you get great views of the city. It's a good picture spot. Both times I've been here, there have been beautiful flamenco guitarists playing on the bridge. And both times I was so moved by the entire scene, I cried. Just a little bit. Other notable points in Córdoba.
I would drink that.
Do stroll the old Jewish quarter. Truly ancient, rambling narrow streets. Don't be afraid to get lost in there.
Beautiful, winding streets with no street names.
You will get lost, but you'll find little gems around the corner. Do make a stop at my favorite little tea house, Salon de Té. Full-blown Arabic tea house with the most gorgeous tea selection and the prettiest little courtyard to sit in. I dragged Evan here too, and he loved it. It's the perfect place to duck into when your feet are aching from all the walking you will be doing. Huge road trip. Here for nothing other than blue pots on the wall. Don't bother with Calleja de las Flores. It's an Instagram spot that is so overrated, it's just not worth it. It's a tiny, narrow alley with some flower pots, which are pretty, but busloads of people come here and cram in like cattle just to get a picture. Oh my god, look at this. But honestly, there are so many other prettier picture spots in Córdoba. Just skip this one.
Let's get out of here.
Are you getting claustrophobic?
Yeah.
Vale, esto es todo. Espero que ustedes disfruten en Córdoba como yo. ¿Hay un tercer viaje a Córdoba en mi futuro? Creo que es seguro decir que sí. Hasta la próxima vez.